Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Fabrizio Romano provides major transfer update as Liverpool insist on deal. Transfer specialist Fabrizio Romano has reported that AS Roma have approached Liverpool today for Kostas Tsimikas to join on initial loan deal. Tsimikas wants the move, but no green light to the formula yet, as Liverpool FC insist on permanent exit. There are two more clubs in the race for the Greek LB. This latest development highlights Roma's determination to strengthen their options at left back, with the Italian side looking for cover and competition ahead of a demanding campaign. Liverpool, however, appear reluctant to sanction a short-term loan and are prioritizing a permanent sale. Liverpool's stance on Tsimikas. Liverpool's position underlines a consistent strategy in recent transfer windows, with the club preferring clarity on outgoing players rather than temporary arrangements. Tsimikas has struggled for regular minutes at Anfield, largely due to the outstanding consistency of Andy Robertson and now the arrival of Milos Kerkez, but he has delivered when called upon, especially in domestic cup competitions. Club sources suggest Liverpool want to use the summer market to streamline the squad and reinvest in areas identified by Arne Slot. That policy explains their preference for a permanent departure, ensuring both financial certainty and squad balance. Tsimikas' perspective, it is understood that Tsimikas wants the move, which could be decisive in the coming days. At 29 years old, the Greek international requires consistent playing time to maintain his status within the national team. The attraction of Roma, a club competing in Europe and renowned for developing players under pressure, is obvious. The presence of two additional clubs in the race provides Liverpool with negotiating leverage. Interest from multiple suitors could drive up the fee and align with Liverpool's objective of securing a permanent sale rather than a loan agreement. Market implications for Liverpool. The outcome of this situation could impact Liverpool's summer strategy. Offloading Tsimikas on a permanent basis would free up funds and squad space for reinforcements in areas Slot views as priorities. The Dutch coach has already delivered a Premier League title in his debut season, yet he is keen to build a squad in his image. A player like Tsimikas, valuable as depth but unable to regularly displace Robertson, may well be considered surplus to requirements. Liverpool's refusal to agree to a loan is consistent with their belief in long-term planning, rather than short-term fixes. Our view. Anfield Index analysis. There is a mixture of appreciation and inevitability about this development. Kostas Tsimikas has been a loyal servant, someone who has played his role with professionalism and never complained about his secondary status behind Andy Robertson. His contributions in cup runs, his energy when called upon, and that famous penalty in the FA Cup final will never be forgotten. That said, it feels like the right time for him to move on. A player of his caliber deserves regular football, and as fans, we cannot begrudge him a chance to shine elsewhere. Roma would be an excellent fit, a club with passionate supporters and a competitive environment. If Liverpool can secure a reasonable permanent fee, it would suit all parties. From a squad-building perspective, Arne Slot is trying to craft a side that is both ruthless and sustainable. Offloading players who are not central to his project is part of that evolution. We trust the club's approach, and while Tsimikas will be missed in spirit, this decision makes sense. It feels like a respectful farewell is on the horizon. Jamie Carragher sends important Alexander Isak message to Newcastle board. Jamie Carragher believes that Newcastle's board should choose Eddie Howe over Alexander Isak should the decision ever arise in the future. So far, Liverpool has made just one bid for Isak. While not insulting, the offer, reportedly around $149 million, $110 million, close to a British record, always seemed more like an opening gambit than a final offer. The next logical step would be a second improved bid. Up to now, Liverpool has respected Newcastle's firm rejection of the initial approach, but with the September 1st deadline approaching, the club may feel compelled to test the Magpies' resolve with a stronger proposal. Meanwhile, Isak has done little to hide his desire for a move. He has refused to play and issued a public statement effectively calling for a transfer, making it clear he wants to leave. Speaking on Monday Night Football following Liverpool's 3-2 win against Newcastle, the former Reds defender believes Howe is more vital to the club than the Swedish forward. "The manager is more important than Isak," said Carragher. "He is a special manager, and I'm not just talking about Newcastle, I'm talking about in the Premier League. The job he has done there from where they were to where they are now. I'm not saying they're going to lose the manager, but if you are talking about player or manager going, he is much more important than Isak." Carragher also warned that Isak's off-pitch actions could disrupt Newcastle's season if the saga drags on beyond the summer transfer window. Offering his thoughts on the situation, Carragher added, "I can't believe that for Liverpool it is just Isak or no one, but it does feel like that the closer we get to the end of the window." Thierry Henry said that Isak is a must for Liverpool. "I have never been of that opinion. I am one of the few Liverpool fans who is all in on Isak, and we have to spend this money. But they don't have the problem of Isak every day. They don't have the problem that Eddie Howe has of going to every press conference and being asked about it. It is a cloud over the club constantly. I have experience of it. We had this with Fernando Torres at Liverpool, where he did not really want to be at the club. He ended up staying, and we sold him in the January. Those 4 or 5 months were a nightmare for the club, and everyone could not wait for him to move on." Liverpool broke own rule for YNWA that shows 16-year-olds' true value. It's easy to see why Liverpool went the extra mile to sign YNWA. The 16-year-old sensation announced himself to the world by scoring a stunning injury time winner on his Premier League debut against Newcastle on Monday, becoming Liverpool's youngest ever goal scorer and the 4th youngest in the history of the competition. Ngumoha, who turned 17 on Friday, was once the crown jewel of Chelsea's academy. But he ended up slipping through the London club's fingers thanks to some bold maneuvering on Liverpool's part. The Reds operate under a strict wage structure for academy graduates, but they made a rare exception in 2024 to lure Ngumoha to Merseyside. Although the teenager is officially on a scholar's contract worth $1,200 per month, his deal is supplemented by a package of bonuses that can substantially increase his earnings. Such incentives are rarely offered at academy level, ESPN report, underlining both how highly Liverpool rate Ngumoha and the measures they were willing to take to ensure Chelsea wouldn't keep hold of him. Ngumoha, born in London, first joined Chelsea's youth setup in 2016 and was widely regarded as a future first-team player. Former club captain John Terry, who has worked in the academy in recent years, hailed him on social media as a top player after news of his move to Anfield broke. Chelsea pushed hard to keep hold of their prized prospect, but were ultimately beaten to the punch by Liverpool's ambitious proposal. The situation mirrors the departure of Jamal Musiala, who left Chelsea for Bayern Munich in 2019 before making his professional debut. Liverpool will hope Ngumoha's career trajectory follows that of Musiala, who has established himself as one of the best players on the planet in recent seasons. His goal against Newcastle offered the latest glimpse of his precocious talent, following on from his fabulous strike against Athletic Club in pre-season that effectively pushed him into first-team contention. In a summer of heavy spending at Anfield, where attacking reinforcements have arrived in abundance, Ngumoha's emergence provides an intriguing subplot. Though not a natural center forward, he is a composed finisher capable of operating on the left side of Liverpool's front three, or at the very least, providing valuable depth to the forward line. His breakthrough also adds another layer to Liverpool's pursuit of Alexander Isak. If the Swedish striker joins, it will no doubt push YNWA down the attacking pecking order, especially with summer arrival Hugo Ekitike already firing on all cylinders and unlikely to be dropped. A clear pathway to senior football was central to YNWA's decision to leave Chelsea, so Liverpool will need to balance their long-term ambitions with his short-term development. Newcastle United, one step away from transfer breakthrough amid Alexander Isak Liverpool saga. Newcastle United are reportedly on the verge of signing Wolves striker Jørgen Strand Larsen as their search for a striker nears a breakthrough. The YNWA Magpies have until Monday to bolster their squad amid ongoing uncertainty surrounding the future of Alexander Isak. The Swedish forward has not featured for Eddie Howe's side this season after pulling out of the preseason tour to the Far East. With injury amid interest from Liverpool, Newcastle have reportedly held crisis talks with the talismanic forward in their latest attempt to convince him to stay at St. James's Park this season. The most recent attempt saw co-owner Jamie Rubin and a PIF delegation visiting the Swedish striker at his home, according to the Daily Mail. Despite a spirited second-half performance against Liverpool on Monday, Arne Slot's men took all 3 points back to Merseyside. Newcastle fought back from 2-0 down with 10 men, and with Isak once again missing from the squad, before conceding a last-minute winner to 16-year-old YNWA Hugo Ekitike, who opted for the Reds over the Magpies earlier in the summer, was also among the Liverpool scorers. But Newcastle are to be optimistic about their chances with Strand Larsen, and former Norway striker Jan Åge Fjørtoft is certain his fellow countrymen will end up on Tyneside. An initial $50 million bid was rejected by Wolves, with the Telegraph, suggesting that the Molineux club will try to fend off interest with a new and improved contract. According to Fjørtoft, however, an increased offer is on the way and should be enough to persuade Vitor Pereira's side to agree, reports The Mirror. Should Strand Larsen depart, it would push Wolves' summer earnings beyond $150 million. Matheus Cunha made the switch to Manchester United at the beginning of the summer for $62.5 million. Whilst Rayan Ait-Nouri has moved to Manchester City alongside smaller departures, including the exits of players such as Goncalo Guedes and Tom King Cunha, and Strand Larsen were accountable for 29 of Wolves' 54 league strikes last season, with the latter securing a 23-million summer switch from Celta Vigo following his productive loan spell. The Norway striker netted 14 goals across 35 outings, matching his finest league tally to date. Newcastle's defeat to Liverpool on Monday arrived at additional expense for the hosts. Joe Linton, Sandro Tonali, and Fabian Schär were all withdrawn through injury, whilst Anthony Gordon faces suspension after receiving a straight red card from referee Simon Hooper. I don't know with Joe and Sandro, it doesn't look good when a player comes off, especially because both looked in a little bit of pain. They'd be a huge blow for us if they're not available. Manager Eddie Howe told Match of the Day. Anthony will be suspended and Fabian had concussion, so not good. Should Isak ultimately move to Anfield, Strand Larsen might not be the sole new striker to arrive. YNWA continues to be a target, although the Congolese forward was seen returning to Brentford training last week. Liverpool. Record Isak deal predicted to be done today as Reds set cut price transfer fee. Liverpool have been backed to complete a record deal with Newcastle United for world-class striker Alexander Isak today, with a pundit absolutely sure. Significant developments are expected regarding Isak in the coming days. As this summer's transfer window closes next Monday, Isak scored 27 goals in 40 appearances for Newcastle in all competitions last season and is intent on a move to Liverpool, who remain interested even after landing Hugo Ekitike for around $80 million for months. Isak has been reported to be a dream target for Liverpool, who could return with an improved bid for the Newcastle outcast after having an offer worth around $110 million plus $10 million in add-ons rejected. Liverpool are currently this Summer's biggest spenders in Europe, as they have invested around $290 million on signings. But they have funds for further additions following the exits of Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and Jarell Quansah. Despite Liverpool's interest and Isak's petulant actions, Newcastle remained bullish on their demands and have reportedly set their asking price at $150. It has also been reported that the Magpies are keen to keep Isak, with a new report revealing that a private meeting has taken place to fix the relationship between player and club. However, Premier League legend Peter Schmeichel claimed when covering Liverpool's 3-2 win over Newcastle, he is absolutely sure that this deal will be done on Tuesday. I suspect that Newcastle have been holding off on this deal until this game is done, Schmeichel told Viaplay. Could you imagine if he'd come in last week and scored 3 goals today? Which he is capable of. That's how good he is. Wait until tomorrow. I'm absolutely sure that tomorrow this deal will be done. It will be in the region of 135 million, a record deal. There's no way in this life that Newcastle can refuse that kind of money. No way. Further exits could boost Liverpool's hopes of landing Isak and another new centre-back, with Harvey, Elliott, and Kostas Tsimikas linked with departures. Tsimikas has been heavily linked with several Premier League clubs in this window, though Serie A outfit as Roma have made a move to land the left-back. Now, Italian journalist Eleonora Trotta claims Liverpool have set a cut price asking price for Tsimikas. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.